Hello and welcome to a Sunday morning Wardies Waffle Farm update. Quite a few things going on the second half of this week. One of them is this sugar beet pad here. We'll have a quick look at that. We're extending this sugar beet pad up on the heath on the light land. And incidentally, while we talk about sugar beet, we haven't had any more out the ground. The contractor was lined up to come and lift some this last Monday, but the haulier we used said they couldn't take it in for 3 weeks, which I wasn't that happy about. And so consequently, I cancelled the harvesting of that sugar beet. And because obviously if you put it in out the ground a long while this time of year and you pile it up like we do, it loses sugar. So I cancelled lifting of that sugar beet, which was going to be last Monday, and then I got a phone call from the haulier to say on last Thursday he could take some in after all. Could he take it? Which of course then I couldn't, because we hadn't got any out the ground. We cancelled the lifting, so I need to sort this out. That's it's not doing us any favours at the minute, this isn't, so we need to look at what we can do with that. Quite a lot of rain this last few days. We've had around about 37 millimetres I think we've had in the last sort of 3 days, so that's a huge amount of rain we've had. Got a lot of drilling done, which is good. Got a lot of first wheats done after we got the bearing mended on the Freeflow, which we'll look at, so that's good, but we've still got second wheats and continuous wheats to go through. So anyway, what have we got in this week's update? We'll take a bit more of a look at this beet pad, and I'll turn the camera around and show you what we're doing there and how much of an area we're extending. We also complete the repair of the Freeflow drill bearing, which took quite a lot of doing because it was a difficult one. You know, everybody knows when a bearing goes, sometimes it's easy, sometimes they're not. This was a difficult one, but the good thing is, while we were repairing the bearing, Tom actually got the RX on the solo. We actually went out and did some solo work for next year's spring crops. We also lay some of the turf that I fetched in the last video you saw. This was the turf that was harvested and grown by tillers near Lincoln and went to the Millennium Stadium at Cardiff. I've got half of it down, but the weather's meant we haven't got the other half down, so I've just got to decide what we do with those rolls, because I think they'll be starting to go a little bit yellow inside. So take a look at how we improvise with some of the machinery we're using to get that turf laid down, so thank you to Simon and Tillers for that. Also interesting, looking at drilling our trial plots. Agri have come with their specialist little planting machine that's direct drilling, or not direct drilling, but drilling into our cultivated ground, the trial plot. So we take a look at that. Also, Ruben has managed to do quite a lot of the pre-em spraying. We've got that all done. We've got them rolled as well, but I haven't got any footage of the rolling because I was busy doing laying this turf when Richard was doing the rolling. So we've got the rolling done on the wheats after oats and after beans, and they've all been pre-em sprayed. And then also Barry, who we've been with the excavator, who did the house footings and 1 or 2 other jobs here while he's got the 360 here, has been tidying up the stone track that we put down a while ago from the brick rubble from the house. So we'll take a look at that, and what we're doing, we're going to put some planings on that. So without any more from me, let's get into this week's update. Hope you enjoy it. Please click like, subscribe and the bell icon to alert you when I post my videos, which are normally every Sunday morning at 8 AM and sometimes midweek ones if they are busy, if we've got a lot going on. So here we go with this week's update. This is the area of concrete that we're extending. It's on this beet pad up at the heath. We've got 4 strips we're putting in. They're about 5 metres wide and about 15 metres long, so it'll give us a lot bigger area to load lorries on and store sugar beet and put the cleaner on and things. The only slight snag is that the old concrete we're matching up to, there's a bit of a dip in it. You can just see, maybe can't quite see in the camera, just there. And yeah, it falls from that side there down to here and then there to there. So we've actually not married up to that level because it would put these areas completely wrong. So we've got a lip there at the moment. You can just see there quite a bit of a lip, probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches high. We can't leave that like that, obviously, because of sugar beet loading and catching the bucket. So when we get that strip put down, we'll probably cut a V out here and just repair this and make it up to that level and just put an extra bit here. I didn't want to touch this, but I'm going to have to do to make it right. And I'm a big believer is if you do a job, it needs to be right. And if you do it right, you only do it once. So that's what we'll do here. So I'll spend a little bit more, have another probably 3 cube of concrete maybe here to make it right, but it will be right. And then we'll have a really good area of concrete from the end here We're going to redo this lane as well and put the planings down that you've seen us take in. So I've got a really good area of concrete from here right the way up to past my truck. So it'll be a good size of concrete here to store sugar beet on. I don't know what it'll be, 15-30. It'll be about 35 metres long by about 20 metres wide, so it'll be a good area. And you can't beat having areas of concrete for sugar beet. As I say, you put it down once and do it properly, it's down for life nearly then. So that's what we'll do. So yeah, that field will come onto, that field of sugar beet will come onto here. We'll get these other 2 strips done this week. And then that'll be all ready for the sugar beet. By the time it hardens and goes off, we won't harvest that field of sugar beet there until probably December, maybe even January time. So plenty of time for this to go off and harden before we start to use it. That's inside the bearing. And then luckily we've got a spare. That's the size of it. You look at my hand, thickness of it. Cost of those, I don't know. I thought £300 today did my head, but it might not, so I'll have to let you know. Obviously there's a whole weight of that drill on this side on it. We've been using the gas bottles on it, and of course we've just got a bit of heat in it, so we've just got some water just to cool it down a bit. I had to gas off all that ring, nearly there with it, but it is really fast.
Well done,
There
Tom.
you go, well done.
I think it's dinner time, do you?
I think it is.
You just got the 2 outer races to get out now.
Yeah.
That'll not be so bad. Got a bit more room with the torch.
We're now getting ready for next year's spring crops, and this field is coming spring oats, but it's really, really tricky soil. You can see what it's like here, looking at the soil here. Very, very tough, sticky, heavy clays, 55% clay and probably 35% silt. So really, really tough. You can just see here what it's like, and the shininess of it, that's the silt. That's the silt here that's making it really shiny and slippery. But we're soloing this, and we know this is what this land performs best. And when you look here at the RX and the solo on the back, just a really good outfit, doing it really well. Nala, come here, Nala. Just see the tracks just plunging on the floor. Loosening it underneath there, the legs are. Mixing it, leaving it in really good conditions for the winter. So Tom's got the hang of it in the corner. You jackknife the press on the back, as you can see, and then you can get the solo on the back right into the corners, so the corners are all loosened. Nala! Nala's just put a pheasant up. See this solo doing a really, really good job on this on these difficult, tricky soils. You can see the legs loosening it up underneath there. The press is finishing off. That'll be perfect for the winter, that will. We've just got a local contractor in, JSE Systems, from near Ancaster. Just putting some beet fertilizer on. I've just missed him, he's just finished. This is one of our fields that's coming next year's sugar beet, and you can see there's a lot of growth of green in it and everything. We are going to spray this with glyphosate. It actually has been sprayed with glyphosate. I think 3 or 4 litres we put on a hectare because there's some thistles in the middle, so we put a good rate on, And so this is all starting to go off. We're going to solo this ready for beet. It had sewage sludge last year, so we're not putting any on this year, but the fertilizer that went in there was a mix of potash and sodium, and the ratio was 20% potash and 30% sodium, and it went on at 750 kilos a hectare, so it's given us about 240 kilos of sodium. We can just see there's some of it there, so it's given us about 240 kilos a hectare of sodium, and then a bit less of potash. But the good thing is with it, sugar beet uses sodium as a replacement for potash, but it does soak up potash. You need if you land short of potash, it will the sugar beet will suffer. So that's why we need to put on a decent amount. So that'll be it for this year. So and obviously with the straw in here and the previous sludge that it had in last year, there's all that organic matter gone in, so it'll be good. So this is looking a bit of a mess at the minute, but we'll solo and press this. It's a nice field, lovely medium loamy soil, and a lot of silt content in this one, but it's a good field for sugar beet. 48 acres, and look across there, so it's a good field to have for sugar beet. So Peter is just folding up the spreader. This is they put these they make these themselves and put these wind deflectors in so they can spread a little bit in the wind, but it was too windy yesterday to do it, so that's why he's come here today to do it. Looking at the back of the spreader, these are the discs that spin round. Obviously it comes out the conveyor belt inside there, out the hopper. The conveyor belt then drops it onto these discs through that little chute there. These discs spin around and they fly it and out and spread it, and you can just see that's what it's like. So a mixture of potash and salt, really. That's the only problem with these Simba drills. This is a weak part on it, but otherwise they're really good. This is the bearing that's gone. That's the replacement. That's the inner part that Tom's getting out. We've got this rolled. It's done a good job actually, the rolls have here, because it was quite rough with the drilling you remember seeing, and Ruben's just now putting the pre-emergent spray on, which we'll look at in a minute. See there, we've got forward and back angling nozzles. Yeah, and it was just a bit rough here. There's just a few hard dry clods, so we just rolled it a bit steadier, and there's still a few clods in places, but generally it's done a nice job there. You can see it's firmed it, crushed it, leveled the lumps up, which will help a lot with slug control, because when you get rough seed beds like this and rough soil, it's where you get slug problems. So in 3 days we've got this sprayed off with glyphosate, we've got it planted with winter wheat, rolled and then sprayed again. Now the idea of this pre-emergent spray is it sort of seals this soil surface and it helps protect it against weeds and helps control the weeds. So you've got an ideal situation here where you've got that lump there. You can see there, and the nozzles we use, if we had a straight down nozzle, it sometimes misses underneath in there. So when we have a forward and back angling nozzle on the sprayer, it sort of coats one side of that lump there, then it coats the other side as well. Finally got it out. Tom and Ian have been all day. That's the outer part of the bearing, that's the inner. Got it out finally after about 7 hours, was it? I don't know. And then that rubber, there's a ring there that separates the tyres. That's not grease, that's the rubber, and you can't get those now.
It's only about 4.5.
Oh, 4.5 hours. Well, that's all right. 4.5 hours to get it out. So what needs doing there, Ian, to that shaft?
We need to dress it all up.
Yeah.
Get it presentable for the new bearing.
Right.
Which is there.
That's Grace. That's that one. So brilliant with Ian's expertise at Simba, helping guide us through this. Common problems or common things this cause, Ian, is what? Is transporting it with hoppers full, which we don't do.
And long road journeys.
Long road journeys, yeah. Long road journeys because they get hot. What did you say? You had to you recommended after so many miles or so long stopping to let them cool down?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the rubber ring that's melted because the bearing got hot when Tom was bringing it from the field here and emptying the hopper as well. But had to be done. There's the ring in the middle of the tyre, and you can't get those anymore. So that's it. We took the RX off last night so Tom could put the solo on, because Ian goes home at 4 or 5 o'clock, and Tom did some soloing last night. Ruben's got this all cleaned up. Ruben and Ian are here, and that's the bearing all in. And then we've got a very large circlip to go in, which is there. And then grease and a few bits, so we'll still be a bit getting ready. Looking at this circlip, you can see how big it is. Now what it does, there's a groove. Just see the groove in there. And that goes in there, and then it springs out. You can see the size of that. So it'll sink in that groove. You have to grip these two ends together. So those of you not quite sure how a circlip works, you grip these ends, special circlip pliers with 2 prongs on. You squeeze it in there and close that gap up, which shrinks that, which means you can then get that in that hole, and then in the groove, let go, and it pings out. But the problem is the large circlip pliers that we have are broken, so we've got to get it in some other how. But it goes in that groove there, then that keeps the bearing in place over the shaft. You'll see a smaller type tractor and a planter behind me. This is Agri's trials machine, their tractor and drill, putting in some trial plots. You've seen us harvest them in summer, in August, narrow plots. And there's Rob here. We're just going to have a quick look at what varieties they've got in and how they're going to do it, and see them doing some. These are all the different varieties. They've all been measured out, and they're all numbered and all in the right order to go in the machine. Got Silver Surfer there, variety. Got another one there called Champion. Here's the seed rate, 400 seeds a square metre, and that's what we're actually sowing as well on our own commercial, on our own plots, on our own fields. Different varieties there, numbers all labelled up right. And then there's a certain, all this is weighed as well, certain number of seeds in there, it's all weighed. Really small drill this, but they Agri use it for a lot of their trials. Got this little harrow on the front, you can see he's just doing a really good job just levelling it. Doing a really good job there. We've got GPS on the screen as well, we'll look at in a minute. You can see here Tilly is putting in the seed. And in each of these little bags that she's putting in, they're all weighed, and depends on the 1,000 grain weight as to how many seeds are in those bags. You can see the bag Tilly's holding. You can see there we've got Trimble is operating it, it's steering the tractor, and as well as controlling all the hopper on the back here in the unit. So while I've stopped, I'll just tell you how it happens. So every 16 metres, this screen here, that screen there sends a signal to this cassette unit to drop the seed. So it's all there set there waiting. That's for one plot, and then it'll empty it, and then Tilly puts another bag in. You can see the bag seed she's holding up very big, and then the unit drops it in. You can see now in a minute it will drop it. There you are. That's it. And then Tilly's put the next variety in. That will stay there for 16 metres until the unit there says, that's it, another one gone. And then it's that Trimble unit there that sends the signal back to here when to drop it. And you can see then it dropping it in the ground, in these disc coulters, putting it in the row. If we look down here, we should be able to find some seed. It's gone into moisture, which is good. Oh, there we go. There's some seed. You can see there with the orange seed. And it's orange here, we've got some more. It's orange because it's got some chemical treatments on it. And some of these plots here will actually have different treatments on it. They might have trace element type, they might have zinc put on them to help them grow and see what the difference is. They'll have different treatments put on the seed, and then they'll be yielded next August with a plot combine. And this is the width of the plot. You can see from that wheel through to that wheel. You saw in some of my other videos the small combine that comes, so that will be it. little bit rough, a little bit cloddy. You can see there's a rather large clod when you look at my hand, but we're going to come along with the rolls this afternoon, roll it really steady, and it'll firm these and press them in, and it'll do a really good job. Now just started laying the hybrid turf back of the offices, the converted stables, and this is what we've got down at the minute. We've got the equipment that tillers turf use, or fine turf in the stadiums for laying it, so we're having to improvise a bit, and we'll just have a bit of a look and see what we've done, but we're struggling a bit, but we're getting there. So this is what we've got down at the minute, and we've got a joint, a little bit of sand and things there, but little bobbles and things underneath, but we're going to roll it when it's when we've had a rain. When you look at it there, so we've got a carpet, if you can lift that up under there. But the fibres here are plastic, there's only 5%. It's all about 2 inches of sand through there. The problem is we've got the covers here, drain covers from the septic tank, the largest sewage treatment plant we put in for, we put that one in for the stables there, and also all the offices rather, and also for the house. So it's the same one that does it all. So the fleece here, if you haven't seen my other videos, the fleece is wrapped between all of it so that it protects the turf, so it keeps it nice and clean and doesn't put sand, or the root zone as it's called, onto the turf. But that's what we've got at the minute. So we're having to improvise a bit, and what we've done, we've got an old harrow, because we're having to hutch the turf up. So we've welded an old harrow like that onto the bottom of this bucket, and then we stick the tines into there, and then we have to squeeze up the gaps. You'll see in a minute how we're doing it, but we're not getting on too bad. But these manhole covers, and that's the warning lights for the treatment plant, and that's one that we've had to cut round. So any lots of slight gaps we've got like that, we'll just fill in with some, get some root zone and some sand and do it. Now that line down there is because we're going to plant a hedge all the way down there. So we'll see how we get on. This is Barry and Richard laying it out. So this is why it wasn't why we're having it, and it's not any good for football pitch. That's perfectly good enough for us. That would be really good. That will get that, close the gap up. So we've got that bit around that manhole cover, so we're just now laying this bit out and then going to slide it in. Bit more, Barry.
Keep going.
Bit more.
You want that end a bit now?
Just pull the wood across. Bit more, keep coming. That's it.
Oh.
That's it, that's the last manhole cover cut round. That's the sewage treatment plant under there, and another inspection chamber there. So that's the last one cut round, so hopefully soon it'll be straight sailing. The main man on the job now.
Should the old lads have a short mark next after?
For all your turf needs. Look at that. Look at that. wonder if he wants the job, Barry. Getting this sorted now. It's just like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle at the end, or puzzle rather. Barry, to you. Close that gap, that's it. That's it, keep going. We roll all our fields if we can after we've planted them, after we've got the seed in the ground. These are 12 metre wide rolls. I'll just get in my... Can't see very well in this light, but it does a really good job. Crushes the lumps, just firms it, helps the germination when it's dry like it is now, and also helps the pre-emergent herbicides to work better. So really there's quite a few, and also helps in slugs control. If you've got possibility of any slugs, it firms it and it helps stop the slugs from working. So quite a few benefits with rolling, and obviously you don't go very fast. It's the lightest field this, so we can go a bit faster. We're doing probably about 9 kilometres an hour, and it uses very minimal fuel. Barry's brought his excavator down to this, the track that we put in a few months ago. If you remember when we demolished the house at the farm and wanted to put a new track down, we used the bricks and the rubble from the house and some of the stone from Menage, and Barry's just tidying it up, straightening the sides out, levelling it up. Then we're putting some soil down the side to build it up nicely to the hedge, and then he's left it slightly proud, slightly high here. We're going to put 3 inches or 4 inches of planings all the way down here and finish it off as well. So that'll make a good track down here and join up with our existing track that goes down here to that beet pad. We've just got some soil and stone mixed, and so Barry's brought his little dumper, and so we've just tipped it down this side here, and then we're just going to top it off with topsoil, and it'll just get rid of this and just build this up here next to this lane. Make a really good job of this. Just a few drain pipes. This is the stone out the Menage that we pulled out, so, and obviously it was drained, so we just need to clear these drain pipes up. This dog here this is Poppy. This is my oldest daughter Sam's dog. Sam had Nala while we were in Portugal last week, and they get on really well, as you can see. Poppy's, what should be 2, probably something like that at the most. They get on really well, but of course Frankie does her own thing, and when those two get together they're a bit boisterous for her. And in the past, whenever we've put lanes down in the past, we've always put them too near the hedge, so that when we come down the track with the tractor and the machine on the back, the machine is in the hedge there, and so you have to then hang that side of the road. But so this time we've put it a bit further off the hedge, and we'll grass that down, make a nice grass bank, and it'll be really good track down there.